Hey, everybody, it's Blair Nightingale. It's Monday. I'm right here. Actually, you guys are joining me tonight. I am in I was going to say old TRADEway office. This actually isn't the old TRADEway office. It's still the TRADEway office. But everything with COVID and all that kind of stuff that happened in 2020, we've shifted a lot of things. So you don't see me in the office a whole lot. So this is kind of cool, kind of special, somewhere that I've spent a lot of time in the past. I've got a special guest on tonight. He's been here before, and so I'm just glad to have you guys on with me, and you're seeing me in the office tonight. So that's awesome. Remember, as always, as you're coming into the class, if you're even here on the recording, the benefit of joining live, of course, is that you get to interact with TRADEway coaches. Now, you're normally on here with me, but if I have a special guest, there's always going to be some room for you to comment, ask questions. I want to really hit home on that when we start tonight, because part of what's so special about the way we can do these live broadcasts now, it's not just that you get to come on here and hear great content from the different coaches and speakers here at TRADEway as we're doing things throughout the week. Remember, we're doing something every day, Monday through Thursday, right here on Facebook and YouTube, but it's that you get to interact with us as well. That is a huge, huge benefit. And if I'm being candid, something that normally costs a lot of money, okay? This kind of financial coaching and teaching is a huge, huge benefit. So I say that to invite you guys to be involved as we're going through tonight. Mario, I see you there. Howdy, as simple as that. Let us know who you are, where you're from, how you're doing. We usually have Jeffrey on here. Jeffrey's letting us know the weather in Colorado. Whatever you want to do, it lets me know who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. So I'm happy to have you on here, Mario. I know some other folks will be coming in as we get going. And then also, again, as I mentioned, those who are joining us on the recording, you can always drop a comment right there in the comment box. You can ask a question. Our team is always watching on YouTube and Facebook for questions. They pass those on to me. Make sure that you get taken care of. Now, that said, housekeeping over. Moving into tonight. Tonight, we've got a lot of amazing people around here at TRADEway. And it says if you're going to boast, boast in the Lord. And if you were around here, in fact, this is kind of cool. We're in the office tonight because if you'd been around this team on this side of the screen here at TRADEway, first of all, everybody here at TRADEway is and has been in the same space that you're in right now. We've all started in the TRADEway program and we've worked through that. And the Lord, in one way or the other, has led individuals to be a part of the TRADEway team. Now, I think I would say in large part, he's led anybody who's in the TRADEway community to be a part of that community. But I say this tonight because, the Lord has brought some really amazing people into TRADEway's space, into my life. Okay, fastest way to get breakthrough in something, hang around with the people who have the breakthrough that you want to have. That's what I'm going to give you the opportunity to do tonight, because we're going to hang around with one of those people for a little bit that has an amazing story. And there are a lot of amazing people here. And again, I credit the Lord for that. But there's something specifically about this individual. I'm going to say two things before I bring him up here, because I want you guys to understand, what we're able to hear from and draw from tonight. And of course, this individual, again, just came from the same point of the program that so many other students have come through. But I'll say two things. One, this individual is doing something very unique at TRADEway. And I want you to hear what that is. Okay, I want you to hear what that is, and I want you to hear from that person. I think that's a huge value for you. You say, Blair, what is it? I'll tell you. Once I get this guy on the phone here, I will tell you. We're definitely going to get into that. Cheryl, I see you there. Drizzly, hello from Connecticut. Well, hello to you too, Cheryl. Glad to have you on tonight. I said two things. That's one thing. The second thing is, we share a lot of testimonies here. Market Monday, through the week. We've got a podcast. We've got lots of places where some of our people get to share their testimony. This individual has done this multiple times, just recently with me in the 5-day Faith and Finance Challenge, which, by the way, if you missed something awesome. It was so good. If you were there, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But I interviewed this individual on the Faith and Finance Challenge. That's not the only place he's done it. And it is always something that people connect with at an extraordinary level. It's been actually really unique and amazing. So I'm not just talking here. There's actually some things in this story that I hope inspire you, bless you, motivate you, convict you, and encourage you to go further than you've ever gone. Because you're here tonight giving me your time for a reason. And I want to tap into that. So I'm going to bring on Mr. Ben Russell to the broadcast. Ben, how you doing?
Hey, Blair. Good to be on with you tonight, man.
I like your background, I have to say. Anytime I'm on with Ben, he's on the beach. It's usually the beach, but it's been a few different beaches. You're going almost, it's very natural tonight. I like this.
Well, so when I do the StreamYard, it doesn't let me do all the technology integration that I normally do. So what you see is what you get. My green screen is over there. I had to not have it as my background tonight because otherwise you'd be looking at a green screen.
It's just a green screen. All right. Exactly. Well, thanks again, Ben, for making some time to be on here with us tonight. I really appreciate it. And, guys, I mentioned to Ben, I just said to you guys, we've done a few of these recently even. So I mentioned to Ben just before we jumped on, Ben, I got a question I want to ask you tonight. And this is actually not a question that I've asked him.
And you didn't tell me what the question was.
Exactly. So. In fact, I said I didn't want to tell you until we got on the live. So for you guys out there, this is just something I'm interested in knowing. And I don't really know this. So I think this is a great place for us to start tonight. And I know a lot of you guys out there will connect and get something out of this as well. Jeremy, I see you there. Jeremy says, shalom from Virginia.
Shalom.
Just finished a long video course with Ben. So I don't know which video you did, but you just did a course with Ben. I have a feeling I know. Looking forward to tonight as well. So thank you for being on here, Jeremy. That's awesome. All right. Well, let me just get to the mystery question because I'm going to build it up beyond what it probably could ever be if I don't just get to it. But I think it's a good question. And here's what I want to know, Ben. I don't know how you met the Lord.
Oh,
I have never asked you that question. So we get on and we're going to do this tonight, folks. We're going to talk a little bit about Ben's financial journey. Obviously, Ben is an active trader. He's a coach here at TRADEway. And there's a story there, and it's a great story. And like I said, that's something that a lot of you guys have said, hey, I really connect to that. So if you've never heard it, you're going to get something special tonight. If you have, there's always something fresh. But here's a piece of that. I wondered, how did that happen, Ben? What's that? That I know is a big part of even your trading story.
It is.
Your values, but where did that come from?
Well, so I grew up as a military brat. Family roots are in Alton, Illinois, just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, a small farming community. And my mom was very much involved in the church. So I would go to vacation Bible school. And as a kid, I would learn about these things. And so I was exposed to the Lord and I went to church from an early age. But I remember being a kid and thinking, if I'm dying, I'll probably have time to get saved. I mean, I started inventing ways in which, if I'm falling out of an airplane, I'd have enough time to do that. if I'm drowning, I'd have enough time to get saved if I'm drowning. I mean, I'm a little different, right? So I'm just telling you that analytical and skeptical nature is a part of who God made me to be from the earliest ages. So I'm in Hawaii, living I think I was 8 at the time. And as an 8-year-old little boy, I'm strolling through the woods, taking a shortcut to a friend's house, which my parents didn't want me taking because it was a little dangerous. And sure enough, I trip and I fall, and I'm head over heels going down this hill. Wow. And I land flat on my back. And I don't think I lost consciousness, but I came close, right? I mean, it knocked the wind out of me, and I wake up and I'm starting to see, and there's this bright light, and I'm like, am I dead? What? Oh, it's just a tree. It's the sun. Oh, am I okay? Oh, I'm okay. And I heard the voice of the Lord literally in my head say, you didn't even think about getting saved.
Ooh.
And I went, it's time to get this thing done right now.
Wow.
Right. So, as an 8-year-old boy and just the quietness of my heart, looking up at a tree in Hawaii, I said, Jesus, I know that you came to save me too. I don't know what it all means, but as best as I know how, would you save me? Because I'd love to be in your family. That's basically all I said as an 8-year-old kid who recognized that I probably wouldn't have time to get saved later in life. So why am I waiting? Just get it done.
Right. Yes. You always think you have more time, huh? Wow. I could go on a major rabbit trail with that, because that is something I feel like the Lord is really teaching me about right now. So, wow, that's awesome. I'm so glad I asked that question. Go ahead.
So it didn't, as a kid, sometimes when we're saved as a child, we don't necessarily recognize all the things that we've been saved from. So what I will tell you is that I didn't really get what I call my head screwed on straight until college. Because for me, the churches that I had been involved with were a little more oriented towards just being social with one another. You'd have a good Bible study every once in a while, but it was a Sunday thing. It wasn't an everyday thing. And it wasn't until college when I was kind of walking away from the Lord a little bit, thinking, is this stuff real? Because for me, I'd ask hard questions, and nobody can answer my hard questions. And when nobody can answer my hard questions about the Lord or what we believed or why we believed what we believed, intellectual guy, right? Asking some hard questions.
Yeah.
And when I couldn't find people that answered my questions in a way that made me feel like there was some legitimacy to their answers, it made me doubt. So here I am in college, kind of doubting. And the Lord introduced me to a group of people that were pretty serious about their faith and could have answers to hard questions, and helped to pull me through a time in which I could have easily walked away from the church. So the Lord knew who I was as an 8-year-old boy in Hawaii who needed a push in the right direction. He pushed me there. And he knew who I was as an 18-year-old man who was searching for his path, and I needed a push in the right direction there. And it's happened several times throughout my journey where I recognize that there's a push from the Lord that helps me to see the path I'm supposed to be on.
Wow. That is amazing. And of course, that is one, our good friend Myron Golden, take advantage of your advantage. The Lord says in his word, you will hear a voice behind you. This is the way, walk in it. And that is one of the promises that I hear in that story, and certainly something we talk about and encourage all our students to do. I mean, as you're navigating this financial journey, we talked about this a lot in the 5-day challenge. You ought to hold the Lord before you as you're making decisions. He wants to bring health into every area of your life, and we're here to partner with you to do that in your financial life. So, okay, that perfectly segues into what I want to ask next, which is obviously, you're in college, you get saved, you're growing in the Lord. So let's fast forward some now, because you didn't go to college for an economics degree, as far as I know.
No.
Go for a business degree. So why don't you tell us a little bit about where you were aiming? And this, I know, is going to speak to some folks out there, because, a lot of people, especially in 2020, as you know, Ben, started looking at the stock market, and that's not something they ever thought they were ever going to look at. And we meet people all the time who think, I didn't think I was gonna, and I didn't think I could. So how did that start for you? You were not looking in that direction to begin with.
No, I really wasn't. So starting in college, I was an electrical engineer, computer engineering, and got through my junior year, got to differential equations. And when I had to take it for the second time and I barely passed, my girlfriend, now wife, at the time was like, why are you doing this, Ben? And I went, because I want to get a job, right? And I want to be able to make some money, and I want to be able to support a family. She's like, no. You can do that with any degree plan. Why are you still an engineer? Because we don't like you when you're like not doing well, right? So
yes.
So I had to start thinking pretty carefully about what was it that really attracted me to computers. And it wasn't the computer engineering side, it was the using computers to solve problems. And it was sort of an epiphany that I would not have had without my my now lovely bride kind of poking me and pushing me in the right direction. So I went into the business school and I started doing computers for solving business problems. I called it Business Information Systems. It was a brand new degree program, didn't exist. It was like the very first group of people that did this program at the University of Texas, El Paso. I was in it, and they renamed it Information Decision Sciences. And this was in the early days of computer networking, and I was in the right place at the right time to have a really good tech career. And I eventually found myself at companies like Microsoft, helping to build cloud architectures. In fact, the company that the part of the company that I ran eventually came on to to be the Bing part of Microsoft.
Okay.
And we did thousands and thousands and thousands of systems all across the globe. And our team had a huge hand in that. So we literally got to help build some of Microsoft's first clouds. And it was actually in that time frame where I heard about TRADEway, because I was working my backside off.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have a family life, right? I mean, when David says that you're trading,
you had a family.
Yeah.
Right. Had a family, didn't have a family life.
Had 3 kids. And at the time that I had started at Microsoft, my kids were, let's see, they would have been 4, 8, and 13.
Okay.
And didn't really get to see my family. I mean, there would be times in which I wouldn't come home for a couple of days and I would have to sleep at the office because it was that difficult of a job.
Wow. Wow.
So I'm driving home one day and I hear this guy on the radio. Are you tired of looking at the brake lights? Well, why don't you come to my 2-day seminar where I'm going to teach you all about the secrets that the wealthy teach their kids. You see, I'm a 5th generation oil man. Let me just tell you about the things that my family taught me that shaped my perspective. And if you'd like to know more, come to my 2-day seminar. And if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. And I heard that for like 6 months.
I wonder who that was. I'm trying to think. Who has been imitating right now? If somebody out there knows, go ahead, pop that in the comments. I know somebody's got it. Go ahead, Ben.
So as I won't give the answer away. So as pastor was giving this information, for about 6 months, I would hear this on the Christian radio going home from Microsoft on the days in which I actually got to go home. It was interesting how about every time that the seminar would come around, I would never have the ability because there was something happening that Friday at work, or there was something that Saturday I wasn't able to do. And then finally one day, there wasn't anything happening. I look at my schedule, I look at it and I'm like, hey, I can go. It's only $99. I should try it. So I go and I'm listening to this stuff. And Blair, I'm almost a little ashamed to admit it now, but you know that story about how I got saved, how I'm a little skeptical, and how my walk with the Lord, I really needed some people that can answer some hard questions. I'm not an easy customer. I'm not.
Sure.
I'm skeptical.
Right.
I'm intellectual. I have questions. And when people can't answer my questions, it makes me kind of go,
there's no trust. Yeah.
Thinks a little bit here. So the first time I went, I didn't think it was legit. Imagine that. A guy who now works in this organization, the first time he went to a seminar, his story was, I don't think this is real. All right, it doesn't end there. Because for the next 6 months, what was happening is I would look at the market and I would look at what I learned in that seminar and I would go, that's exactly what they told me it was going to do. So 6 months later, I went back to the seminar, signed up as a Top Gun, and invested quite a bit of money in my education. Right. So I'm not afraid to invest in things that I know are going to be long-term worth my while. I invested in college. I've invested in a master's degree program. I've invested in several technology certifications. I have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in technology certifications that did very well for me in the tech world. And I just knew that I needed to invest and to be able to be a part where people who knew how this worked could invest into me, so I could quickly learn what this was all about. So I wasn't afraid to pay the tuition fee, if that's what you mean, for being able to join the Top Gun program. And I'm so glad that I did. And it's led to where we are now, where I've been doing this with TRADEway now for a little over 11 years.
So let me ask you this, Ben, not having that background in the stock market, okay, what gave you the confidence that you could do it, right? That not, and not that a person could do it, but that you could do it. Because I know there's folks out there tonight and I talk to them, right? This is something that's normal around TRADEway, because I've said this to you guys before out there, Market Monday. One thing among others, but one of the main things I think TRADEway does better than anyone in the world is helping you guys who don't feel comfortable, you don't feel confident, you don't feel knowledgeable. Okay, I'm not necessarily saying you're terrified, although some of you might be. We're very, very good at helping people in that position get to a place where they are confident. But everybody has to cross that bridge at some point and say, I think I can do this, even though I don't know how to right now. I think I can. How did that work for you, Ben?
Well, so for me, it started out by first, I really wanted to understand it. And then I discovered that as much as what I understood the academic side of it didn't make any difference. I had to actually like go do it. So for me,
Right.
it was learn, learn, learn. And then it was go press the buttons, press the buttons, press the buttons, press the buttons. And it's one of the things that I tell people now that I wish somebody would have been a little bit more pushy with me. Maybe they were, I'm hard headed.
Right.
But
Okay.
I push people right now. You need to go paper trade. I mean, come on, just go press the buttons in a TD Ameritrade account. I mean, it's free to get a paper trade account, right?
Totally.
You can literally go press the buttons. You know, you see Blair talk about a stock or an options play. You can go trade that, learn how it works on paper, not risk a single real red dime. I guess it'd be a red cent, a single red cent in the equation, right? And you can literally function in the market as if you're trading real money. And then you can begin to connect the dots between your academic and your tool side, and how the trading comes together starts to make a cohesive story. And that's really how TRADEway has functioned for so long. Is we're not just going to tell you about it. We're going to show you, we're going to do it with you. We're going to give you trade setups. We're going to show you how this thing works. So what gave me confidence is that I would go to a webinar and I would hear David Mitchell, Chris Johansson, later Jeffrey Nance, and they would walk me through stocks every week. I'd walk through stocks. I would see what they were saying. I would come to a webinar with an idea of, here's 5 stocks that I think are probably in a good spot. And I would bring those 5 stocks up. And it was amazing how often, they would say, yeah, this stock's at a good buy point. Or no, I don't like this about this stock. And it was in me engaging with them where I really started to learn. And then me doing the trades that they were talking about that allowed me to start to connect the dots to where it wasn't just them doing it. It was now me doing it.
Right. Something that you didn't know how to do and had never really thought you were going to do. Now, I'm sure in your profession, you'd heard some people in the markets or this or that, but that's true for a lot of us. We're hearing about it more, but that doesn't mean we're necessarily feeling like we understand. So I hope you guys are hearing that out there. That is Ben's story. And that is the story of thousands of TRADEway students, including myself. It's funny, Ben, you've probably noticed this. You work with a lot of students as well. And I want to say this to everybody out there tonight, because I think, this is going to set somebody free. Remember, the Lord said the truth will set you free. Well, that's true anytime something is true, especially if I'm not believing something that is true. So that's true in this moment. You say, Blair, what are you talking about? I find this happens especially with adults, okay? We can often, this isn't going to be everybody, but we can often feel like when we are learning something new, we ought to already know everything that a person needs to know about that thing. Now, let me say that more simple. I start something new and I don't like that I don't know it all yet. And so I just don't learn it. And that cuts us off from so many amazing things that you can come on and you can hear my testimony and you can hear Ben's testimony, but we want you to have your own testimony. And we've got tens of thousands of people in the TRADEway student body that are doing that very thing. And that's why we tell you these testimonies. And that's what's so powerful about that part of the story, Ben, because to hear that you come to that place where, you know what, no, I can't do this alone. But I'm going to have to embrace a process. And that's just so good. And I'm just really, really thankful that you shared that and that people out there are able to hear that.
Blair, I'll echo what you just said, and I'll say it a slightly different way. The surest way to not learn something is to think you already know the answers. Friends, I'm telling you that so often we come at something with a preconceived idea or a mindset, and we're not open to learning. And as an adult, we often will do what Blair says. We will think of ourselves as less than when we don't have a skill set. That's the voice of the enemy. Just telling you, it's the voice of the enemy.
Totally.
The enemy wants to keep you bound with where you are. And he knows that the only way for you to go forward is to do things that are beyond your skill sets, beyond your abilities, where the Lord of the gaps, that would be the God that we serve, has to step in and help you to get to a higher plane. Because if you could do it in your own strength, it's just you. telling you, trading is something that is going to drive you in your relationship with the Lord like few things can. So.
Okay, I have said that on here so many times too, Ben. I can't stress how true that is. And for those of you, I know there's some people out there tonight. I can see your name. You're in the program. If you found that to be true, you go ahead, drop that in the comments as well. A few people have figured out your acting there, Ben. David Mitchell, the main man, Dave Mitchell. I can see that in there. Jeremy says LOL in his caps. That voice and speech got me as well. So people are enjoying that. I love it. All right. Well, we're kind of drilling down deeper here. Okay. So we talk on Market Monday a lot about trading and investing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're making a differentiation between trading and investing. For everybody out there, remember, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, especially YouTube, it's very easy on YouTube. You can always go back, watch all the episodes of Market Monday that you may have missed. So if I reference an older episode, that's where you can go back and watch that. But we do talk about the difference. So the short-term trading, there's also a place for long-term investing. You know, sometimes folks here, Ben, they may not know that. They may not know that because we talk a lot about the short-term, but we actually do a lot with the long-term. So I'm interested to hear from you. Obviously, long-term investing still has a place for us as individuals. And of course, a lot of people have retirement accounts and they're planning their financial future using long-term, but you do something here at TRADEway that's pretty unique in terms of what the long-term money, we could call it, looks like. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what does that look like here at TRADEway for folks out there who may not be familiar or interested in knowing how does TRADEway do long-term investing?
Well, I'm going to answer your question, but I'm first going to tell you that imagine that the Lord takes somebody who's got a mindset for serving him and his kingdom, who's come out of the business world with a lot of technology experience and savviness, understanding how technology works and how to build teams. And then all of a sudden, the Lord decides to put him into a company like TRADEway and then give him a mission to go help a lot of his kids with their long-term finances. Well, that's kind of my story.
Right.
That's my story. I mean, without going too deep into it, what I will tell you is that when David asked me if I would consider doing this, my very first thought in the human is, wow, that's going to be a lot of work. I'm not sure that I want to do that. I mean, I was pretty comfortable.
Right.
I mean, I was making good money in the tech world. And one of these 3:30 in the morning conversations that the Lord likes to have with me when he needs to get my attention, because it seems like 3:30 is about the only time he can get it, was a conversation of you can help a lot of my kids. And I've put within you these abilities, these skill sets. Think about how perfect this job is for you. It's perfectly made for you. This is what I'm calling you to. So I took the job. And now what we do is we take technology, we take trading understanding, and we blend it together in such a way as that with a few clicks of the button, you can take investment portfolios and do what typically only the elite of the world do. You can be in and out of the market, in and out of different positions with just a few clicks of the mouse. And it's all because of the technology. It takes the know-how of what David Mitchell and team know how to do from a longer-term investing perspective, which, Blair, as you just said, it's a little different than trading. And when I'm describing this, I like to think of this as long-term at TRADEway is a couple of months in a trade. All right, so let's just be clear.
Sure.
Long-term at TRADEway is we're in a stock position for more than just a couple of days. It's a few weeks to a few months is usually what we consider long-term. For most of you out there, if I were to say long-term investing, you're like, I've been in this position for 10 years. Over the last 10 years, that position is beep, 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 all over the place. So what if we gave you the access to the technology to where some of the things that you've learned within the TRADEway universe could now be applied to a little bit more of a medium-term perspective, where with just a few clicks of the mouse, you could be in and out of your portfolios, rebalance them, and you were a part of that process. Well, that's what we do. We call it AMPed. And AMPed is the program that David invited me to come to be a part of with TRADEway. And now it's what I get to do full time. And I spend a lot of time with my friends out there. We help you with your portfolios. I help lead the team at TRADEway that does this. We got a great group of people. And our job is to help you to be able to make sense of things like today.
Right.
Anybody a little interested in how maybe your portfolios perform today? Or did you even look at your long-term investments today? Well, what if you had somebody in the background that was literally telling you what's going on in the market, why we think it's happening, what we are suggesting that you do, and then you actually had the capability of clicking a button to take immediate action if you chose to? Anybody got access to do that at their 401ks or their portfolios? I didn't.
Anybody out there get a call from the guy who's managing it for you today? I'm going to guess and say no.
So what we do is we've got a program where we're communicating with you. We're literally building a partnership with you to help you to learn how this thing called investing works. Because we do not believe that you should be in the market for 10 years in the same position. The markets move so much more quickly. They're so much more volatile. The bear moves can be so drastic.
It's true.
And you wouldn't necessarily want to be in the same stock for 10 years anyway. What if there's a better option potentially for you to go put your money into that has a little bit better growth opportunities? So those are the sorts of things that we do in the AMPed division. And AMPed is all about helping you with your longer term savings. So if you've got an IRA that you want to roll over, we can help put that at Interactive Brokers. They're our technology partner. We can link up with you. It's still your account. It's in your name, everything. It's still your money. The difference is that the technology about what to do with it, we actually tell Interactive Brokers, this is what we want. And then there's a couple of different options here. One, I can now actually do it for you. I couldn't say that just a few weeks ago. Right? I can now actually do that button pressing for you, or I can teach you how it works and give you the power to press the button. Which one would you prefer? It's up to you. I can go both ways. And that's what's unique about this program, is that we can literally make you a partner. If that's something that you want to do and you want to become proficient at it, we call it the Amped Pro program. We teach you how to do this as if it was going to be your job, your profession. So Amped Pros, you press the buttons. We teach you how. We give you the information. We give you the technology. We even give you all of the files that you need to rebalance it, and we keep them updated. And then there's some of you where you're like what I was at Microsoft. You don't have time for this. You just don't have time. As much as what it sounds like a great idea, you don't have time. And there's a lot of people in our program that they've asked us, hey, Ben, can you press the buttons for me? And I would always have to say, no. So for the last year, we've been working with the 3-letter agencies, doing all of the appropriate paperwork, making sure we've got all the appropriate certifications behind the staff doing the work. And now we can actually press the buttons for you with you giving us what's known as discretionary authority. So it's still your account. It's still your money. The difference is it's like we get to go in and we get to press the buttons on your account. Pretty powerful technology. And
Very powerful.
Think about it, Blair. Technology guy. Lord building me up and all the things that I got to do, had no idea what was on the path that he had for me. I come to TRADEway, you guys kind of need somebody who understands how to put the technology stuff together and all of those things. And the Lord made all of this stuff work. So
Wow.
All that glory goes to him, my friend.
I got to say, I hope everybody else, I want to back up for a second just to make sure we catch this, because what we're talking about here, you guys, is, depending on the state you live in, let me start here. Depending on the state you live in, and some have said some higher numbers, but even conservatively speaking, I looked at all 50 states a week and a half ago. What you're expected to have for retirement at the age of 65. Okay, so we're not talking 59 and a half here. We're talking 65 years old. This is well over $1 million. 1.2, and in many cases, again, depending on the state, it's a lot higher than that. So we're talking about some just retirement. Now that's just retirement. We can do some other things here, but let's just stick there for a second. What Ben is talking about is saying, Ben, I don't know what this experience was like for you last year, but I've been around TRADEway since 2016. Now, we didn't have a market crash really after 2016 until last year. So for you guys out there, I said we all started as just new students. So think about me, Blair, right? I was in your shoes, new student. I'm hearing about bear markets and market crashes and the stocks falling, but I hadn't actually seen it happen. Well, what happens to your retirement account if it's all parked in the market and the market crashes? Well, I'd heard about this now. I started in January 2016. Last year, on staff with TRADEway coaching students, I got phone calls from people in the middle of the COVID crash saying, Blair, it's down 40. I've lost 40%. This is a quote of my retirement. Okay. Now, that may or may not have come back. Let's just say it did, because the market came back strong. Okay. It's never done that before the way it did. And it's still vulnerable to what could happen in the future. So what is Ben doing? Ben is saying, we will partner with you guys to help you manage it, not over manage it, but manage it easily in a way that's going to protect your money. Because he has the skill set to know what to do when the market changes. We don't teach a skill set that has a crystal ball, right? Where we know everything that's going to happen. We teach a skill set that means I can be confident to do what I need to do no matter what happens. You say, Blair, I don't have that confidence. Well, then you ought to be a partner with us, because we do. And we help people every day have that confidence. And if we're talking about something as important as your retirement account, your children's college fund, whatever it is you're doing, I'd say you want to look into something that puts the power in your hands, because nobody cares about your money more than you do. And what Ben just described for us is a way that helps us do that. And excitingly, Ben, we're doing something nobody else is doing this, guys. Nobody else is doing this. So we're not only going to help you, right? Now, Ben, you help people put together a portfolio, understand their situation. This is something you work with individuals on to make sure that they have exactly what they need, correct?
Right. So we work with you to figure out things like your risk tolerances, your goals, what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And we'll have a few additional items in the very near future that I think our friends will be very interested in knowing about. You talked a little bit about the difference between long-term and short-term. Well, what if we could sort of help you to get in and out of individual stock positions with a portion of your portfolio?
Now we're breaking some ground here that has been something we've wanted to do for a very long time.
I figured out how to make it happen. I figured out how to do all the appropriate things within the tool sets. Now I can do it across several accounts. So we are launching that service the first part of August, and we are going to call it UP, the Ultra Portfolio. So UP, and our goal is to aim up with the Ultra Portfolio and to get people that would like for us to be able to go in and take maybe a 20% of their funds and be a little bit more aggressive with it and be in and out of specific stock positions. We're going to be able to do that now. Get in and out of Microsoft. Hey, you know, it's my own company. I can trade it now with no problems, right? So Microsoft was a decent looking buy. Maybe I want to go put some 5% of the allocation into Microsoft. And I've been looking at the oil stocks. I definitely don't want to buy any oil stocks now, but once they bottom, man, I'm going to be looking at some oil stocks, right? I mean, MRO today just took it in the shorts. And I mean, that's been a really strong stock. Devon Energy and EOG, you just go down the list. We're watching all of these stocks.
Yep.
And what we're going to do is we're going to start building portfolios for people for their 80% money, is what we like to call it. That's the long, safer, kind of that medium term, in and out of sectors of the economy, push button simplicity. And then that 20% money that we keep talking about, those who want to be a part of the UP, well, we're going to actually get you in and out of specific stock positions now. And because we can press the buttons and we've got the technology to do it, we can do it across hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different accounts.
It's amazing, 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 exciting stuff. You guys, this is game changer kind of stuff here. Game changer kind of stuff. I know a lot of people are interested in this, Ben. For those of you out there, you've noticed I have actually popped a Zoom link into the chat. Whether you're with us on Facebook or YouTube, you will find it in the chat. Ben, you've got a webinar coming up. So for anybody out there tonight who's interested in hearing more, learning more, they can join you on that webinar. I've popped that in there. And maybe just tell us a little bit about what they're going to find there. Obviously, we've been covering some of that. You guys are going to get to find out how do I get involved, what's a little bit more information. But if you can just tell us a little bit about that. It's going to be on July 22nd. That will be webinar.
7 p.m. Central, July 22nd. So that's coming up this Thursday, right? So this Thursday, I'll tell you more about the program. I've already given you a decent peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I did it on purpose, right? I want you all to be able to hear this multiple times because this is a unique program. I don't know of anybody else doing it this way, right? We're literally helping you to be able to manage your money with a trading and an investing blend. That doesn't happen in most investment advisors because they don't want to go through that level of effort. They would really prefer to, talk to you once every few months and just rebalance your portfolios then. It's astounding to me that when you go and talk to your advisor and you ask them to go to cash, often they don't have the power to do it. They have to make the request to the home office, and the home office says, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
By the time that happens, don't blink, right?
Today's already gone by. For those of you who don't know, Ben referenced the market, give or take. I'm not sure exactly where the close was today, Ben. I mean, the Dow's about 900 points plus down. For those of you that don't necessarily know what that means, that's a massive move down on the day. So there's definitely some volatility. And wouldn't you want to know, I got somebody at the wheel who understands how to manage this risk. We want to help you avoid situations like today and beyond that you don't have to face alone. You don't have to wonder and worry about what is going to happen to my money because you got somebody in your corner like Ben.
Practical question. How many of you today heard from your financial advisor about what was going on in the market and what they think is going to happen next? Type in the chat window. I don't think I'm going to get any answers.
I was just going to say, Ben, there's always a delay, right? When we use this software that we're on, everybody, there's always a delay. You guys pop it in, maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds later, it comes through. I'm going to bet with you, Ben, that there's not going to be anybody on there. I've been in many hundreds, even maybe rooms full of people, and I've asked those questions before. I've never had anybody tell me yes. Cheryl says
today, all of the people that are a part of the AMPed program got 3 different updates for us today with what was happening pre-market, how we were going to approach it, what was happening around lunchtime and what our decisions were, and then what we were going to do and how we position ourselves going into tomorrow.
Sounds like information I'd want to know.
So that's what we do at TRADEway. And our goal is to try to make it to where you can have the capability of doing what the financial elite do. They do not buy and hold. They do not just stay in the market. But they've got a lot of powerful people that do this for them. We're just trying to give you access to similar technology and to give you our expertise and our know-how to help you to do it, because so many of you, like us, you're followers of the King. You got things to do with your time. You'd like to be able to allow your time to be used for the benefits of his kingdom. And that comes to your finances as well. So if we can be a part of helping you to be a better steward of what the Lord's given you, then you know what? That's why we are here. And it's the mission that drives us. Why did I walk away from the tech world? I would rather do something with my time that benefits the kingdom as opposed to, I'll say it, Blair, I've said it before, I'll say it again. What helped me to recognize it was time to leave Microsoft is when I recognized that every single waking moment of my day that I was spending at the office was literally so that I could spam people and sell them advertising.
Right, I remember you saying that, yes.
When I recognized it as what it was, I'm like, there is no redeeming value to that. There's no benefit to the kingdom. There's nothing that my job is doing long term to assist with what it is that I feel like I've been called to do, and it wasn't fulfilling. Man, what I get to do at TRADEway, I'm helping people. It's fulfilling. I get an opportunity to be a part of the seeds that people are planting all across this country for the kingdom. It's a huge blessing.
And of course, that is such a part of our story. And I hope you guys know that as well. You know, I'm half tempted. I won't. The TRADEway team, a few members of the TRADEway team got to go out to Tampa this past weekend and join a Christian conference where TRADEway is going to be helping teach some new folks out there. And it was an amazing, inspiring time. But really, in a nutshell, the message, Tim Tebow was there, Duck Dynasty, a lot of these people. And what was the message? Hey, how can we help you get up out of the thing you're doing, right? And get into a place of purpose and meaning. And, finances play into that, right? We say this around here all the time. Finances aren't everything, but they're pretty important, and they can really help us transition. And of course, that's what you were able to do, Ben, and that's a huge part of the story. And that's what we want to help you guys too. So there's lots of pieces in play here. I've put that link into the chat for everybody out there. I'm going to do it one more time. Go ahead.
So let me tell you what that is. This is a link to register for the Zoom meeting where you get to come live and you can hear me and Jenny Taylor talk about what this program is. If you've got questions, you can ask questions in that program, and we'll give you an opportunity to hear all of the details about how this works. And the part for me is that if you don't come, you don't know, right? So it's an hour of your time to figure out if this is something that the Lord has put in your path, right? I think that a lot of people can be helped by this program, but I want you to have the information so you can make the decision for yourself as to this might be something for you and your family. And if you come to the webinar on Tuesday night, I'll tell you more about it. I'll give you some great documentation that you can read through and pray about it. There's no pressure. This is not a sales presentation per se. It's an informational. I want to show you what we do and give you an opportunity to be able to decide if you want to participate in it.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, we're coming around 45 minutes here. It's amazing how fast the time flies on these Mondays every time. And certainly I think you accelerated that feeling tonight because this is good stuff. I hope everybody out there is hearing this. Sign up for the webinar. If you have any questions, the webinar is a great place to be. So go ahead, sign up for that webinar. Join us. As Ben said, he just wants to show you more of what it is, give you some information, answer some questions that you might have. Go ahead, click on that link, sign up for the webinar, and you can join us on Thursday night. Ben, thank you so much for being on again, my friend. We covered some new ground tonight, I think. So I got something out of this too. And I think you guys out there did as well. So if you're joining us live tonight, thank you so much for being here on your Monday night. If you're joining us on the recording, of course, we are happy to have you guys too. Giving us some of your precious time. Help us help you save more of that time. That's what this is all about. Ben, thanks so much for being on. I'm going to sign us off.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Good night.